Hello everyone, and this is the third game, board 3, from the Blindfold chess simul that I did. And this was against Mitchell. I have the white pieces. Mitchell played knight f6. So I didn't have to worry about playing the 3 game against 3 different people. They all chose their own paths forward. And you gotta be careful with Mitchell. And yeah, here he's playing it like a Nimzo Indian. Good on him. I haven't played c2, c4. It's kind of like a modern system. He takes. Now I've got a pawn structure that I don't mind here at all. I would like to be able to push this pawn here to e5 and kind of cramp black a little bit and have the bishop looking, whoa, not that. We want the bishop looking over here. And maybe the other bishop's already looking over here. We get a knight over here and it's attacking squares, which are really important. And maybe even the queen comes in with decidedly decisive effects later on. So I'm already hoping for a good pawn structure for an attack here. He goes d5, e takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop d2, and castles. So I'm already thinking about sacrifices on h7. During the Blindfold chess simul, I was having a lot of problems keeping this board and board 1 straight for some reason. They kept kind of overlapping, and that wasn't good. I had to try and figure out which board is this going to have to replay the moves in my mind to try and recreate the board because I was having trouble with image retention. Rook e8. So when he played this move, I was a little bit confused. I was like, okay, he's going to line up against my king, but I need to get my king some safety. And he doesn't really have any great way to attack over here. Only the queen can come over here. The rook is kind of trapped. The bishop's kind of stymied as well. This knight could potentially be an issue. Not so much this knight, not that rook. However, this bishop here does, with its colleague, strife the king side of the board, and I do have a knight that's ready to leap into the fray, and then a queen that comes in. So I could very easily have the rule of 3 or more chess pieces in play here. You need at least 3 or more pieces or pawns, combination thereof, for your attack to succeed. You should attack in the sector of the board where you are strongest. It wouldn't make sense for me to attack on this side of the board, on the queen side. My pieces are aiming towards his king. I should attack over there. He plays e5, pawn takes, rook takes, and I'm trying to push his pieces back, knight to f6. This is probably not so good by me, actually, because the best defender for him now is this knight here. So this knight becomes the best defender, and I don't want him to add defenders, but I do get my bishop on this diagonal, and I attack the rook, and I attack the knight. So we could very easily imagine that there will be some sort of attack coming into play here, where my pieces are once again outnumbering their counterparts on the other team.
Hold the show! Okay, so I actually did not see, quote unquote, the tactic in this position during the Blindfold exhibition chess simul. So you take your time here and see what move white could play to immediately gain a material advantage. And we'll assume you've done that, and we'll take a look at the solution now. Okay, so it's the same tactic I eventually do take advantage of. Sometimes you miss an idea in chess, and then you see it later on when it's not even the best move anymore. So yeah, here I can take the queen, and I didn't have to give up as much material, just the bishop, and I would have won his queen like so. This tactic was hanging in the air for quite a while, actually. And it wasn't just merely in this position, even here after well, let's take a look at that again. So simple and straightforward. Even a blind man could see it. Well, not me playing blindfold, apparently. So yes, that was the big opportunity that was missed. But here it is again. There's still a queen that's hanging freely on d8. Unprotected pieces. Loose pieces drop off. Basic tactic. Capture with check. Got to check them line pieces. A big takeaway from this game. And yeah, a takeaway for myself as well. Even if I'm playing blindfolded. And then right here, it's no longer as good an idea. And I do get the queen, but he should get a couple pieces for it. In fact, he would have 3 minors versus my queen. It would be more of a fight. Here the queen hangs, which is what happened in the game. And here he takes the knight, or the bishop rather. He could take the knight now. Knight takes knight.
Rook to h5. Knight to g3. That's a free move for me. I get to threaten that rook immediately. During the game, at one point I even couldn't remember that there was a knight here. I was like, is there a knight there? It was very hard to visualize. And I was worried about Mitchell a lot during this Simul because he has the most experience and has been playing chess for a very long time. So he was the one I was the most worried about. And it turns out he would be the second board that I would close, that I'd win the game for. Spoiler alert. But yeah, he had me worried. And then of course Donny on board 2 was the game I thought would end the first, and Donny thought so too. But Donny hung in there, tough as nails. He just kept playing just to see if I wouldn't make a mistake, and that's really what you got to do sometimes in chess. Rook to c5, bishop to d4, setting up a bit of a trap. If he plays queen takes, he would be so sad because bishop takes h7 would be check, and he would lose his queen. Rook to c6. Knight to h5, so I'm trying to put pressure over here. And if he takes, knight takes knight, then my queen can zoom on over, recapture, and then she'll be helping out with an attack. And we'll have these bishops over here. And then we have an open E file that I could put a rook on. So this would be pretty bad for Mitchell. Here he takes the bishop though, and then I take the pawn. So now he loses the queen. He should really take the knight, but he got caught up in trying to create a threat against my queen, which gave me a chance to save the knight by capturing with check. So this was a big mistake for him. So he's made 2 tactical errors in a short amount of time, taking the poisoned bishop and then not taking the money and running when he could have. He would have had 3 minors for the queen, and that would have made it a tougher game. That definitely would have made it a tougher game. Problem for him, of course, is he does have 3 sleepers over on the queen side. Well, he captures with the pawn, queen h4 check, king g7, rook a to e1, and bishop to e6. Now, this move was not such a great move. For some reason, I had forgotten that there was a pawn on f7, and I thought, oh, I'll just play, after he plays rook takes, I'll go queen g4 check, fork his king and his rook. And then, like, as I was getting ready to play that move, I was like, wait a minute, his king's on f8. Why is his king on f? Oh no! So we couldn't do that. Because if you could go to f7, you'd go to f7, right? So now I go f4. He gets the knight out. I push f5. He drops back. And I'm going to try a cheapo checkmate. He's not going to allow that. Now here I'm going for the mate. He drops back. Check. And for whatever reason, again, I had forgotten about the f7 pawn. Like, this pawn was a ghost. It kept blipping in and out of the board that I had in mind. And this was causing serious problems. And then you remember later on, and you're like, God. So he hides behind. I'm like, wait a minute, how's he moving? Oh, there's a pawn there. So now I'm putting a pin on, and he plays this move, and I realize, man, the way things are going in this game, I better hope I can win this quick. So I go here, setting a little bit of trap. And of course, if you want, you can stop for a moment and see if you can figure out what the trap might be. He doesn't necessarily have to fall for it, but he did. White to play and win, and take your time. We'll assume you've done that, and we'll resume. So of course, because of the queen over here on h4, that pawn right here on f6 is pinned. And so the knight really isn't defended by that pawn because the pawn's pinned. So I just take the knight with check. He steps up, which is even worse because I get to take the pawn with check now. He steps back, trying to run away. I give a check. So he's going to be losing the rook. Rook for rook, and then rook takes, and then queen takes, and only I can have fun. So he tries to give some checks here because I'm blindfolded. Maybe I start forgetting about things again. And I attack his rook. He takes the pawn, and now it's just a mate and two. A mate and two. So this was a fun match, the 3-board blindfold chess simul that I did at the Gold Beach Chess Club, the GBCC. We're going to do it again. As long as people are interested in doing it, it helps me out with the visualization. And very interesting games. A lot of takeaways for the players that played me to improve. And so, yeah, make it tougher on me next time. Got to check them line pieces. That's a big takeaway from Mitchell. Yeah, if someone's offering you a freebie, verify that it isn't just a bit of poison bait. He knew not to take it the first time, but then he was like, well, surely I can take it now. Surely not. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Wishing you and yours all the best. Stay well, be well, and always play the best moves in the greatest game of them all, the game of life.